Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about how hard it is to find articling position in Ontario and also share some advice on how to find an articling position. Before I go on, I also want to stress on the fact that luck plays an important role in finding these positions. If you're trying hard and you're not getting a position, just understand that it's not you. Sometimes people just get lucky. They are there at the right place and timings, and then they end up getting a position. So if you're not getting one, and if you're having a hard time, your time will come too. Everybody ends up getting a job, and everybody ends up completing their lawyer licensing process one way or the other. So before I go on, I did not article. I got two articling positions that I didn't take. Um, and I ended up doing the law practice program. The reason I didn't take the articling positions were, first of all, they were general practice law firms in small towns, and I didn't want to practice at a firm where they were just doing all sorts of different things. I wanted to do something different related to corporate commercial at the time. I thought that I wanted to do corporate commercial. So I just felt that those firms were not going to train me the way that I wanted. So that's why I decided that I would like to do the law practice program. And like I've mentioned in my videos, I used to work at the Legal Innovation Zone at a startup, and all of the admin staff for the law practice program was there. So I kind of knew what the program was all about. So that's why I opted for the program. But I can definitely share how I got the positions, and hopefully that's helpful. First question is it hard to find an articling position in Ontario? The answer is yes. It is extremely hard to find an articling position in Ontario because there is a lot of competition. There are a lot of law students out there and there are less jobs available. So it becomes really hard, especially for a foreign law graduate, to come in and network and try to find a way to land an articling position. I'm not saying that impossible, but I want to acknowledge that it is extremely hard. Now, we can also see this that there's a new program, the law practice program in Ontario. The reason why that program came into effect was because students could not find articling positions at all. And they were not able to get licensed because they couldn't complete the training component of the lawyer licensing process. And this is why the law practice program was introduced, because there were so many students coming, law students graduating, and there were less jobs out there. So, it is hard and it is going to be very difficult, but many people do end up finding articling positions, and it has a lot less to do with what your grades are or what type of work experiences you have. It has a lot to do with how you approach employers and how you position yourself in front of an employer. So let me just get into some advice that I have in terms of finding an articling position, and I'll tell you what I did. And you can see if you want to try it out or if it works for you, or I don't know, maybe it is helpful to you. First thing that I did was I had access to Osgood's student portal, where they used to post jobs. So I don't know if you've seen my previous video. When I was doing the LLM program at Osgood, I had access to the job posting portal when I was applying for internships. And even when I graduated, I would still look at that portal to see if there are any articling positions available. So I would regularly check that portal, always apply for all the positions that were posted there. I didn't care at the time which area of law that I wanted to get into. And usually the positions were really great. So I ended up applying to all of the positions. Anything that I would see, I would just apply. I got a whole bunch of different interviews as well, but I didn't get selected. For the most part, like I said, I only got two positions, but other than that, like bigger firms, organizations, I would get an interview, but I wouldn't get selected. So again, I guess my first advice would be to apply to any position that you see. Um, the other thing I would like to mention here is that this is what I feel. I feel that during my time in Canada, since I've been here, I have been doing different things. So, not just legal, but I've been doing a whole bunch of different things, like working for a legal tech startup. I did Law Without Walls by the University of Miami Law School. So I did things that were a little bit different than you would see on resumes. So I just think that those were the things that people were attracted to. And every time I'd get an interview, they'd ask me, "Oh, tell me more about this. What did you do at Law Without Walls? How did you get involved in legal technology?" So I think that the first thing would be, I'm not saying that you should right now go search for something that's different, but I think that maybe try and think about some things that you've probably done in your hometown, or if you are from Canada, something that is going to make you different. So that is something that you want to make sure that you put on your resumes. That's something that worked for me. Every time I would get an interview, these were the two things that I was asked about. "Oh, tell me more about this. Oh my God, this is so exciting." So that's how the conversations began. And I actually got an interview for a position, and you will not believe why they interviewed me. So this was a position for, I think it was an in-house role. I was for an articling position, and a lot of the work was related to contracts, so contract review. A lot of it was contract review and using technology to review contracts. So on my resume, I actually volunteered at a community center, and I taught senior citizens how to use technology. So you know, people who didn't know how to use Google, YouTube, how to create an account. So I was just there volunteering. I would just tell them how to do it, explain to them all of these things. So I actually got an interview, and the employer told me that, we saw that you had volunteered at this community center and you were teaching senior citizens how to use technology. And we thought that that was very interesting because a lot of the lawyers here are older, and we want somebody who's hands-on with technology and who will help them use contract softwares. And so I was like, whoa, I never thought that that's the reason I was invited for an interview at a big organization like that. So just putting it out there, don't be ashamed to put any experience. Just because you're applying for legal jobs, that doesn't mean that you need to have legal experience. Your resume should show a little bit of your personality too. So that's something that worked for me. I don't know if it's going to work for you, but I'm just letting you know so that maybe you can try it out. Second thing with articling positions is that I'm sure you've heard a lot of people say this, but it is very important that you should actually reach out to people and let them know that you're looking for an articling position, no matter who it is. It could either be a colleague, it could be a friend, it could be a place that you interned at. You just want to make sure that you tell everyone that you're looking for an articling position, and you're open to whatever areas of the law that you're open to. When I was a student, I always was hesitant to ask people. I don't know why I did that. For instance, I went to so many networking events. I could have just asked. I met so many lawyers and lawyers from all around Toronto, and I never asked them that, or I don't even know if I told them I'm looking for an articling position. I wish I had done that. I don't know why I didn't do it now that I'm thinking about it. But I think it's a great way to let people know that you're looking. So if they know somebody, they will introduce you to them. A lot of people told me this too. I don't know why I didn't do it, but definitely just let everyone know. If you have a circle, even if you're professors, you can just let them know that you are looking for something. And if there's something that comes up, please to just let you know that there's a position, or even just introduce you to anyone that they might think is helpful. So again, the second thing, like I said, just tell people, don't be afraid to ask. Anyone could be your potential employer. So don't ever hesitate to ask. The third thing is, like I said, luck plays a big factor in landing an articling position. I know that you can't really do anything about it, but the only thing that I would recommend is, now during the pandemic, that you can't go to networking events, you can try and, message people on LinkedIn, lawyers, and see if they're willing to help you out. You can also try and just call law firms. I've had some people call me on my office line, just randomly just call me. And I found that that was quite impressive. People just call me up and they just ask me, like, I'm interested in practicing your area of the law. Do you know anybody, or do you think that you need help? So I think that again, when I was a student, I used to think, oh my God, I'm going to be wasting the lawyer's time. What if they think something else? Like, why am I calling them? But to be very honest, just search firms wherever you want to work. Just give them a call, because people are more receptive now to calls than back in the day, because they're literally sitting on their desk all day. So they're probably going to pick up their call anyway. So, you can just prepare a pitch and try to tell them who you are and why you're looking to work in that area. So don't be shy and think that, they might be busy. If they're busy, they'll let you know. You know what I mean? So something that I would highly recommend. I didn't do it. That's what I'm saying. Now that I'm on the other side, I see a lot of students do different things. Like, wow, like, why didn't I? Why didn't I do that? But just letting you know, don't be afraid to call people. Don't be afraid to send them a message. But when you do call people, make sure you're prepared a pitch. What are you going to say? You can't just call them and be like, hey, do you have an articling position? You just can't do that. You have to actually prepare a pitch in terms of who you are, why you're calling, what do you need, and just have it in a way where it looks like you prepared something to talk about. So yeah, I think these are all my tips. The last thing that I want to communicate is that I know that this is a hard time and you're probably going to take up anything that you get, but keep in mind that articling is your first step to the legal profession. A lot of people obviously change afterwards. For instance, I did my placement in corporate commercial, but now I'm practicing corporate immigration. So, my practice area has changed. But sometimes the skills that you learn during your first year, for instance, articling, are very important skills. So make sure that you do end up at a firm that you like. If you're not, if you, even if you have the slightest hesitation and you feel like this is not going to be a good fit for me, always opt for other options. In Ontario, you can definitely do the law practice program. And the program is not just for people who don't end up finding articling, it is also for people who just want to explore different areas of the law. So just remember that make sure that it is your own decision as opposed to you being forced into it, because articling does make a lot of difference. You will be learning the skills, and so if you do end up in a place that you don't like, you probably are not going to have the greatest experience. So definitely keep that in mind. I hope that this was helpful. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, please do let me know. I'm trying my best to answer all the questions, and yeah.